Alright, welcome back to another math video. Today I want to discuss prime numbers and prime factorization. Before we get into prime factorization, I want to first go over some key terms. The terms I'm going to use in this video are factor, prime, and composite numbers. Let's first discuss what a factor is. The definition I like to use for a factor is a whole number that divides exactly into another number. A factor can also be the numbers we multiply together to get a product. I will mainly be focusing on the first definition for this video. An example of a factor, let's say we use the number 30. 10 is a factor of 30. How do I know 10 is a factor of 30? Because 10 can go into 30 evenly. And how many times it goes in? It goes in exactly 3 times with no remainder. So we know that 10 is a factor of 30. And also, since 3 can go into 30 evenly too, 3 is also a factor of 30. That's an example of what factors are. Next, let's go ahead and look at what a prime number is. A prime number is a number that has 2 factors, one in itself. An example of a prime number would be the number 2 and the number 3. The number 2 is a prime number because it only has factors of 1 and 2, which is itself. And 3 is a prime number because, once again, it has a factor of 1 and 3. Number 4 is not a prime number because it is a composite number. Well, that would lead us to another definition, a definition of a composite number. A composite number has more than 2 factors. So let's look at an example. If I go back to that number 4, the factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. That means it has 3 factors, making it a composite number, not a prime number. Hopefully you guys can understand the difference between the two. The first example we're going to do is, let's do the prime factorization of 210. What I like to do for these is, usually if it's an even number, I usually just take the 2 out and then cut that in half, and that's how I start. But this one's a little easier if it ends in 0, so I know that 21 times 10 is a good start. So 21 times 10 gives us 210, but if you look at these two numbers, obviously they're not prime, so you have to break those down again. If you look at 21, 21 can be broken down into 3 times 7. Once I get a prime number, I usually circle that. I'm going to do it in a different color. And then hopefully you recognize 10 is not a prime number, but prime has a factor of 2 and 5. And both of those are prime. So the prime factorization of 210, you list it from lowest to biggest, it would be 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. In other words, if you multiplied all 4 of these numbers together, you'd get right back to 210. Alright, that's one example. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's try 248. So this is where I'll take the technique of just cutting in half, since this is an even number. So we know that 2 times 124. 2 is prime. So I'm going to circle that. Hopefully you can recognize 124 is not prime. So once again, that's an even number. I don't have to think much about it. I'm going to take a 2 out of that, and this would be 62. Once again, the 2 is a prime. 62 is not. It's an even again, so I'm going to break that down into 2, and then 31. Now both of those are prime. And the way we list this, you can list it this way: 2 times 2 times 2 times 31. But the more appropriate way would be write it as 2, since we have 3 of these, cubed, times 31. Hopefully this quick lesson on prime factorization helps you. If you have any more questions on this topic, feel free to get a hold of me. Have a good day.